friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video, I'm doing another build that is obviously very much inspired by the brand new Adventure Awaits expansion pack. I love the idea of getaways so much. It's kind of like the same thing that happened when small businesses came out in the businesses and hobbies expansion pack, where the ideas for like getaways and things to do and like types of camps and all that sort of stuff, it just kind of like keeps coming to me and I just want to keep building venues for it. So that's essentially what we're doing here today. Even though this is not going to be a custom venue, this is going to be a residential, but I will explain more about that later. But one of the first things that came to mind, or one of the first things that I was like, I really want to see if that is a possibility to do, was a horse camp. Because I don't know, I feel like to me that is super nostalgic and just so realistic and just so much fun. And how cute would it be for Sims kids to just go to camp and hang out with horses and do horse riding and potentially take care of other animals too. So that is essentially what this is. So I'm building a barn. I kind of started with that barn because obviously that was going to be the most important part of this build in general, is the barn. So that's what I started with. And then I wanted this to be a residential because I thought that would make the most sense when it comes to running this camp and like actually doing the gameplay for it. I'll tell you about that a little bit more in a minute. So yeah, I built the barn and then I was like, okay, we also need some sort of like living quarter or like a house or whatever attached to this or on this lot as well. So I kind of started to mess around with that. I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do. I didn't really have a specific plan for this or like an inspiration picture or anything like that. I just kind of started to build a barn and then I just, whatever happens, happens. But then I thought it would be cute to actually like attach sort of like a tiny house or something to the barn. So that's what I ended up doing. It's only a really small, essentially 2-bedroom house. It started off being a 1-bedroom house, but then as I was kind of thinking about the Sims living here, running this horse camp, all that stuff, I realized that I really wanted another bedroom. So I just added a small basement under the house, and that's where I added in one more bedroom. It's a basement room, so it doesn't really have any windows or anything, which is always a little bit upsetting to me personally, but in The Sims, that stuff obviously doesn't matter. It's a really cozy basement room, I will say. Like, I really like how that one came together. But yeah, build-wise, essentially what this is, it's a barn with a small house, like a tiny house, or almost like a trailer home type thing, except it's not a trailer home, kind of attached to the barn. And then obviously I wanted there to be a bunch of space for horses. I added in 4 horse stables total, so there can be 4 horses here. I added another closed off area specifically for mini goats and sheep, and I also put some chickens in there as well, so there can be like chickens, goats, sheep. I thought that would be so adorable. Then I also added in some playground equipment and all that because essentially I really wanted this to be a fun place for kids to hang out and go to horse camp, but also not only spend time with the animals, also spend time with each other and, play on playground equipment, just hang out outside, enjoy the outdoors. I also added in a small campfire. I thought that would be a really cute activity for them to do at night, for example. So that's essentially what this is. And then you might think, okay, but where are the kids gonna sleep? So I put an attic in the barn, and that's where I set up the camp for the kids to sleep. I personally thought that that would be such a fun idea. If I were a kid, like I was a horse girly when I was little. I loved horses, and the idea of a camp and then sleeping essentially in the barn with the horses, that would have literally been the dream. So I thought it would be so cute to set up a space upstairs. So they're gonna have to climb the ladder up to the attic of the barn. And then I set up bunk beds there. There's space for 8 kids total, which is the max of any role that you can add to your getaways. So I thought 8 Sims or 8 kids max would be cute. So we have 8 bunk beds for them to sleep on, or 4 bunk beds, so essentially 8 beds total. I thought that would be so cute. There's 2 small little bathrooms up in the attic as well, just for efficiency. I felt like that would make sense. And there's also a sleeping bag up there because I thought that the staff member running the camp, whenever it's going on, can sleep up there with the kids, you know, for safety measures. So I thought it'd be cute to just have a sleeping bag over there as well for the staff member to kind of crash out and sleep there with the kids just for safety. I thought that would be really cute. So essentially that is what this build is. Now, the way I think this is gonna run best is if you set it as a residential, because clearly you're gonna have to have horses in order for a horse camp to work as a horse camp, you know, so you're gonna have horses. So I think what works best from either point of view, like the kids' point of view, like the camper's point of view, or the host's point of view, is if you set it up as a residential and then you move in a household, including all the horses. So I basically just used a mom and a teenage daughter, and I placed them in here. They're living in the house. I did that for playtesting purposes, but that's also kind of what I was thinking of, like the storyline wise, when I was decorating the house. I thought it'd be so cute for a single mom and her teenage daughter to live here, and they are horse people, they love horses, and they run a horse camp every week or something like that. I think that would just be so adorable. But anyway, yeah, so you have two people essentially running the camp as a residential or from a residential. The horses are in the household. That way it's also easy to have them adopt a few goats and sheep and like add chickens and all that stuff, so it's all set up. And then you can either play the camp as a host. That's how I've play tested it and how I've tried it, and it actually works really well. The only thing is that horse riding isn't actually an activity that you can choose for the specific roles to do, like horse riding, do horse riding or whatever. Is literally not an activity in there that you can choose, unfortunately. I don't know why. I wish it was there, but there's probably a reason for it. Otherwise, they probably would have done it. But yeah, unfortunately, you can't set that as a role for the Sims that are visiting to autonomously go horse riding or whatever. The Sim you're playing obviously can do the horse riding. So if you are a host or the staff member or both, like if you're playing from that household's perspective, then those Sims can do horse riding. I do think, I haven't actually tried this, but I do think that if you are a kid visiting this residential lot on your getaway, if that makes sense, if you are playing from that kid's perspective, then I do think you could technically go horse riding. I don't see why not, but it is something that maybe when I do a tour of the build, actually now that I think about it, maybe it's something that we can test out if we just try if we can play it from a camper's perspective, if we can set up that getaway real quick. I don't know why it wouldn't be possible. I think you can do horse riding when you are the camper, but I'm not exactly sure. So that's something that we're going to try. But regardless, like even though that's a bit of a bummer that the kids can't go horse riding autonomously, it's still very cute to just see them walking around because they are taking care of the animals. So they will autonomously hang out with the horses, brush them, hang out with the goats and sheep and the chickens, feed them, brush them, play with them, you know, so it's really cute. So maybe it's more of like a farmer's camp than anything, you know, but we're just going for horse camp because that's what I was aiming for here. I don't know. I think this turned out so cute, and I really, right off the bat, when I first started building with Adventure Awaits, I knew that this build buy was going to go so nicely with Horse Ranch, so I was super excited to actually do a little bit of a deep dive and really combine the items together. I had so much fun with that when I was decorating the living room or like the house in general. I thought that turned out so cute. Like the wood swatches go so nicely together, and it's just a really good pack to combine. Like Adventure Awaits is a really good pack to combine with Horse Ranch. And for that reason, this is actually also a limited pack build. I was building this over on Twitch, and it definitely took my chat a little bit of, they really had to convince me that I should try and make this a limited pack build. But I caved, I did it, and I'm really happy that I did, because that way I could really focus on combining the specific packs that I was excited to use together. So that was just really fun for me to do in general. And it's nice because it's easier for you to download it that way, obviously, as well. So the packs that I used are, of course, Adventure Awaits, Horse Ranch. I also used Cottage Living, and I used Seasons, and then I used the Outdoor Retreat game pack as well. So those are, I don't think I'm missing anything. I think those are literally the 5 packs that I used. So I feel like that's pretty good, honestly. It's pretty easy to download. I don't think I'm missing anything, but obviously we'll go over the packs and I'll check everything out in-game after the speed build portion of this video. But I'm really excited that I actually caved and made it a limited pack build because it's just so much nicer sometimes, you know, to also just not be so overwhelmed by all the items to use, and it's just a little bit easier for it to come together and for you to furnish it. And it makes it an easy download for a lot of people, you know, so yeah, that's what I went ahead and did. And I really had so much fun landscaping this. I did build this sideways on the lot, by the way. We are in Chestnut Ridge, of course, which is the world that came with the Horses expansion pack. Oh my goodness, what is that? Horse Ranch is what it's called. I just keep forgetting the names of packs these days because there's so many of them. Also, I think today there's a new kit coming out. Today is Thursday, October 9th. I do believe there is literally a kit coming out, which is kind of crazy because we just had this pack come out last week. So that's crazy. There's so many packs coming out these days. I think it's an autumnal or like an autumn apparel, so a create a sim kit. And I personally am excited about that because I love fall, and even though I'm not very much of a cast player, I have been a little bit more recently because I've been doing a little bit more gameplay, so that requires me to do a lot more casts and like create characters, and I've really been enjoying it, I will say. It's not my strong suit, but I really enjoy it. But autumn apparel is right up my alley. Like, I love everything about autumn so much. I love autumn clothes, like autumnal outfits. It's just my favorite in real life too, so I'm kind of excited to see what that kit's all about. I think it's dropping today. I could be lying, but I think it is. In any case, if you are thinking of purchasing that kit, or if you're thinking of buying Adventure Awaits or any other pack, I do want to quickly mention that you can use my EA creator code, Simmary Sims, which is a free way for you to support me as a creator. So it's not a discount code or anything, but if you use my promo code, Simmary Sims, at checkout in the EA app, then I make a small commission. So yeah, that's a way for you to support me as a creator. And it's exciting because actually this is the very first video that I am making as a full-time content creator. I actually started going full-time with content creation as of literally yesterday, actually. Yeah, yesterday was my final day at my job, and so yeah, right now I'm a full-time content creator and it's very exciting, I will say. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that and like share the excitement with you about that real quick. But yeah, that just goes to show that using my promo code, using my creator code, it means the world to me and it does not go unnoticed. And it goes such a long way. So thank you if you've done it before. I really, really appreciate it so much. So just wanted to get that out of the way as well. Yeah, you can see that I added a little basement to this house, and I think that was such a perfect addition. I don't know why, but I feel like the basement was just a really good addition to this house. It just fits the vibes, and I think it's really cute. Maybe back in the day, this used to be like a wine cellar or something like that, and they like converted it into a bedroom. This entire build is actually sort of giving me recently renovated vibes. I feel like the mother and daughter, they purchased this like really old barn that they really had to like renovate from the ground up almost. And so they did stick to what it looked like originally, sort of, but obviously updated. And then maybe they added on the extension of the house partially, or maybe like the living room kind of situation, and then the wine cellar, they used to be there already, or they were there already originally and then they added on to it or something like that. I feel like it's one of those reno projects, you know, where they kind of just converted the barn into, well, I mean, it stayed a barn, but then they added a little house to it as well. I don't know, that's kind of the vibes that it's giving, and I really like it. Also, if you aren't able to tell, the color scheme for the exterior of this house, yes, it is the Life of a Showgirl colors. If you know, you know, then you may have already noticed it maybe. Yes, I did build this. I started building this, I think, the day after The Life of a Showgirl came out, so obviously I had to incorporate it somewhere because my entire brain is that album right now. So yeah, I just had to use those colors somehow, and that's why we decided to make it kind of like an orangey wood and then that teal-ish color as well. I actually think it turned out so cute. It's colors, wallpaper colors from the Horse Ranch pack, and then I combined it with that new brick from Adventure Awaits, and I love that brick. This brick wallpaper is one that I will be using for so many of my builds for a little while to come. I don't know, I really like this wallpaper so much. It gives the house so much personality and character, and it just looks like an old brick, but the colors are so nice and soft, and it's kind of subtle in a way still, but it's also textured. I don't know, I get weird about my wallpaper sometimes. I just really love a good wallpaper with a good texture. It just makes me really happy. So yeah, that's why I used it. I also used it on the inside of the house a few times for like a fun accent exposed brick wall. You know, I thought that would be so cute. And then here we are moving on to the interior of the build, and I just love how this one came together. I really went for a combination of Adventure Awaits and Horse Ranch furniture just to see how everything blends, and it blends together so well. Not as in the wood swatches match perfectly, but they match well enough in a way where you can make it look very cutesy and a little bit mismatched in a realistic way, but also you can really tell the vibe that they were going for, like rustic, log cabin slash horse barn kind of like combined. I don't know how else to explain it, but I had so much fun with this. I think it turned out so fun. This shelf that I'm placing by the front door from Adventure Awaits, I mean, how perfect is that shelf for a build like this, like a rustic kind of build like this? It's so perfect. And then in the living room, I used the end table and the coffee table from Horse Ranch with the couch and armchair and end table from Adventure Awaits, and then I had the perfect spot for a little 2-tile fireplace in that little nook right there as well. And that more modern slash rustic fireplace from the new pack worked out so nicely. Oh, and then I ended up using that little round side table by the couch as well. Like, it was just such a great combination of items. That armchair with the throw blanket over it is, I think, one of my favorite items. It's probably in the top 3 of my favorite items from the new pack. I think that armchair with a throw blanket is so cute. It looks so realistic. The swatches are so good, like the colors are good. I really like the couch as well. I'm not sure how often I will use it after it is not like super new and shiny anymore. I do love it. I think the swatches are amazing, but the fact that it doesn't have any arm rests, I don't know. There's always something about couches like that that I'm like, it almost looks not homey enough to me, if that makes any sense. Like, it makes perfect sense in like say when you're building a camp and you have like a communal cabin with a living room for people to share, or like in a bed and breakfast where you have like a shared communal space for people to hang out. That's what that couch is perfect for, in my opinion. And obviously that's the whole idea of the pack for a good chunk of it as well. So I feel like it makes sense. But for like a home, a residential that I want to look cozy and homey, I tend to go for couches with arm rests. I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe it makes no sense, but that's just kind of what I tend to go for. I do really like how this couch looks in this house though. Because I feel like the frame of it is just a little bit more minimalistic, which really works for the space because the space is a little smaller. So it doesn't look as like big and chunky, even though it's still like a full-on sofa, you know what I mean? So it doesn't take up that much space in that regard, I feel. So it really works in this house. I think it's really good. I love the leather on it, like the texture of it again is just so good. And the swatches are beautiful. So yeah, in general, I'm just obsessed with the items that came with this pack. I think they're really good. And then, like I've said 1,000 times, but like combined with Horse Ranch, are you kidding me? I love it so much. You can see here in the kitchen, I went full on Horse Ranch with the counters. The stove and the fridge, I think, are from the chicken pack, Cottage Living. And then the table and chairs, obviously from Horse Ranch as well, but then combined with that brick wallpaper, oh, it's so good, from Adventure Awaits. And one thing I really liked in this kitchen that I did as well, against the other wall, is I placed 2 china cabinets, and then I put a little ottoman kind of thing in the middle to kind of combine the two, or to kind of make it look like a built-in sort of thing almost. And it just goes together so nicely. That ottoman fit in between those cabinets so nicely. And then I used a swatch with a yellow cushion. I know you can't see it right now because I'm cluttering up the kitchen, like the other side of it. But I just feel like that was such a gorgeous combination of items, and I just really like how it looked, especially everything in this like warmer wood tone, like the orangey honey wood tones, I think are so pretty, and I just had the best time. This entire house, like furniture wise, came together so quickly and easily because everything just was kind of flowing together super nicely. Especially because of the combination of items that I was using. I was feeling so inspired and I just loved it so much. Horse Ranch is, I think, build buy wise, one of my favorite packs. I think in like 99% of my builds, I will use at least something from Horse Ranch. I just love it so much. This sink, for example, whenever I have a chance of using that sink, I will. It has to fit the style of the house, obviously, but I love that sink. I think it's so well made and the wood swatches are so pretty and it's just so good. So yeah, I love Horse Ranch. Also, like the wardrobes. I use the wardrobes from Horse Ranch all the time. And the little round side tables are so good because they're a little smaller, so they fit like smaller corners better, and it's just really helpful. Then here we have one bedroom. This bedroom is for the mom. So as I quickly mentioned earlier, I was really furnishing this house with a single mom and her teenage daughter in mind. They are horse people. They grew up with horses. They've always loved horses, and it was their dream to like live in a barn or like live on a farm type of thing together and like have their own horses. And run a horse camp and like make their money that way and teach kids how to do horse riding, even though that's not technically something you can do when you're playing through this camp, but that's kind of storyline wise what I was thinking. And they just love teaching and they love hanging out with the kids and telling them about how to take care of the animals, you know, and like how to technically sort of like run a farm in a way, like not all the way, but like have the kids kind of experience that lifestyle. And maybe it's also kids from the city coming over to the horse camp because they don't really have these types of places in the city, but they do love horses. So in the summertime or whenever they have time off from school, they will come on over here and go to horse camp for a couple days, meet other kids, hang out with the animals, be outdoors, you know, like that sort of thing. I just thought that that would be so wholesome for them to run this together. And then in my brain, the mom would be the host of the camp. So she would be like, looking over everybody. Also, she would be the one responsible for making the meals and all that stuff. And then the teenage daughter, she is there to play with the kids as well and like look after them and teach them things and, you know, also sleep up in the barn with the kids whenever there is a camp going on. So she would be the one keeping them safe and like just keeping an eye on them when they're sleeping, you know, that type of stuff, because they are obviously in the barn. The horses are literally downstairs. Like when you climb the ladder down, the horses are right there. So, you know, for safety reasons, it would make sense for an adult, you know, or a teenager to sleep up there with the kids. So that's kind of what I was thinking, and I just really like how it ended up looking. So here we have that basement bedroom, which obviously is for the teen. I love this bedroom. It is so cute. I gave her her own TV, and then the pack also came with a brand new console that I actually haven't used yet, but I thought it'd be cute here to just set it up in her bedroom. I know she has world's smallest TV, so it would be kind of tough to game on there maybe, but still, I wanted to give her that. I thought that would be cute. And then I also gave her this desk. I love this desk. I love how the edges show a little bit of wear and tear, and it's just so realistic and fun. So yeah, that's what I ended up placing here. I also gave her the paper craft skill building item. I thought that would be cute to have that in the house here. I didn't really set that up for the kids anywhere. The kids are just more so going to be focused on outdoor activities, catching butterflies and playing on the playground equipment, and of course, most importantly, hanging out with the animals and taking care of the animals. So that's kind of what I wanted them to focus on. But yeah, here in the bedroom, I also gave her this hanging like clothes rack thing with some clothes hanging from it. I was struggling sometimes to like find the right clutter because I was using only limited packs. So I was definitely missing some clutter items that I would normally have put in. But regardless, I think this basement bedroom turn out so cute. And that pillow, by the way, that I'm using is base game. I also used it on the couch upstairs. It's one of the new reward items from the reward thingy, like the gameplay reward thing that's going on right now. The event is what they call it. I'm forgetting what exactly this event is called, but we can check it out in a minute when I'm giving you a tour of the place. But yeah, that's what that throw pillow is from. If you're wondering, like, what the heck is that? That's not base game. It's actually base game, but you have to unlock it, which you can right now if you're playing through the login reward, like gameplay reward event. I'm not sure how long that's going to go for, but I think it always goes for a little while, so there's time for you to unlock it if you wanted to. Then we are moving on to the barn, and I really wanted to add some extra activities. We have the horseshoe game that unfortunately you can't place inside, so I just placed it outside so Sims can just play that little horseshoe game. I thought that would be really cute. And then I also ended up putting a grill outside by the fire pit, like the campfire. I thought that would be really cute for them to like have outdoor dinners and hang out by the fire and roast some marshmallows afterwards and stuff like that. I also thought that archery would be such a fitting activity for the kids to add in. I don't know why, but that's just kind of how I felt about it. So I added archery in the barn. Is that completely safe? Is that entirely realistic? No, it's definitely not, but this is The Sims, so we don't really have to think about that. I didn't really have a lot of space to set it up anywhere else, but if you really wanted to put it outside, then I feel like you very easily could. I just really wanted there to be like an activity for them to do in the barn too, and I felt like archery was a cute thing to put there. Obviously they would only play it when the horses are outside, and then they would close the barn doors, you know, so it would be more safe that way, obviously. But I know it makes not a whole lot of sense to put that inside, but I just thought it looked cute, so I went for it anyway. Then here on the second floor, or in the barn attic, we obviously have two ladders going up, and then this is the space where I put a few bunk beds, a couple of dressers. I love how this came together. I think this looks so fun, and just, it's a little cramped, but it is so cute and cozy, and the orangey wood tones and then the blue bunk beds. I don't know. There's something about this color scheme. It makes me really happy. So I have 4 bunk beds, 8 beds total for kids to sleep in. And then I also placed this sleeping bag on the floor. In my brain, that would be for the teenager looking after the kids, obviously. So she would sleep up here as well with them. It's not as comfortable for her, but you know, this is what they're gonna have to do. This is the space that they have to work with. And then pretty nice actually is that they have 2 bathrooms up here as well. I just thought that that would be super convenient. So we have 2 full bathrooms with showers, toilets, and sinks up here as well. And I ended up placing the outhouse actually outside as well, which is also a unlockable reward item, but that one was from the previous event actually. But that's gonna do it for this build. So let's jump into the game and I'll show you the build in real time. So here we have the horse camp in the game. I currently have a camp in session. As you can see, it just started. So we have a bunch of kids just kind of coming over. I didn't set their outfits, but you obviously could. I think it'd be so cute to give them little matching horse ranch outfits. I think that would be adorable. But yeah, here we have the barn. I think this is so cute. I have 4 horses here. So obviously we're running from the host's perspective right now. And I have Lorelai and Rory Gilmore running the place right now because I needed some Sims to play test and I had those Sims on hand. Let's just bring Lorelai back home. She was enjoying a festival somewhere. There she is, there she is. But yeah, over here we have the little mini goats and sheep. I don't really have any chickens here at the moment, but you can add them in, obviously. And you can see that the kids are just playing with the goats and hanging out, and it's so cute. The kids tend to love the goats and the mini sheep the most at the moment, as opposed to the horses, which is kind of funny. But I have seen kids going over to the horses too and like pet them and hang out with them. But over here we have 4 horses total. The stables actually work as well. I have play tested all of this where the horses can get in and out of the stables and all that, and that works perfectly fine. Lorelai dislikes country style. No, she does not. And as you can see over here, we also have a schedule all set up that's currently in session. So right now they have free time. I can actually show you how I set up this getaway. So I created a horse camp getaway with 1 staff member and 1 host, and I obviously set the Sims that live here and then 8 campers. And then I just set a bit of a schedule, but not too much. They just have breakfast time and then free time, dinner. I thought it would be cute for them to hang out by the fire in the evening and then sleep at 11. And for the campers' overall activities, I set care for animals, play on playground equipment, enjoy the outdoors, be funny, and also horses play and learn, which means that the horses will use the toys and things that you put in for them. I don't know how much sense that makes because the kids are not the horses, you know, but it was an activity that I could choose, so I did that anyway. I could actually add the horses. You can see that they're in the role panel here, so I could potentially add them as a role to this camp and maybe set the horses play and learn activity for them, but I don't really need to because the horses are here anyway because they're part of the household. So I was a little bit confused by that, but just wanted to show you that that is an option. But yeah, that is how I set up the horse camp, and I feel like it works really, really nicely. So here in the barn, of course, we have the stables, there's the archery in here, and then just some cute decorations. I also placed an outhouse here in the corner. I thought that would be easy for Sims to use. And then we have the horseshoe game as well. Upstairs in the barn, we have the bunk beds. I don't know, as a kid, I would have loved this. I would have absolutely loved this. So all the beds are automatically assigned, which is really nice. It did assign this top bunk to Rory, and she is the staff member here. So ideally I would want her to sleep here. Oh, this one was assigned to Lorelai. I mean, that works too. But you can obviously assign the beds to the proper Sims, and then that works too. And then up here they have a couple of bathrooms as well, just showers and toilets and sinks and all that. And then here we have the inside of the house. I just feel like this turned out so cute with the fireplace going and everything. It is just absolutely adorable. And I love how the furniture pieces from the different packs just combine, and it just looks super cozy. Through this archway over here, we have Lorelai making some food for the kids probably. There is a kitchen. I just love this kitchen. I think this is so cozy looking. It's so rustic, and again, I'm obsessed with that wallpaper. There's a 4-seater dining table, and then this is that little ottoman that I was talking about that I tucked in between these cabinets. I think that looks really fun. The yellow color of it is just gorgeous. And then over here is a full bathroom, which is very self-explanatory. And then over here is the main bedroom of the house. It's nothing fancy, but I really like it. I love the shelves over here in this nook. And then that little dresser and the bed, of course. There's also a little office space in here and a wardrobe. And then through this door over here, this is where we have a staircase going down into the basement. And this is the teen's bedroom, and she is a horse girly, as you can very clearly tell. So I love this bedroom. It's very cozy. We have some decorations on the wall. There's a TV with a console over here, a small desk with the paper craft activity, some clothes and clutter. This room turned out really fun. And I also added in this habitat thingy, so Sims could actually catch butterflies and stuff and put them in here. I thought that would be really, really cute. And then we just have some kids playing on the playground. I don't know. I think this is so cute. But I also want to test if this is functional from a kid's perspective. So let's see if I can set that up. Okay, so I have a kid here that is in another playtest household, and I actually set up a getaway from the calendar. I chose the Gilmore residence here in Chestnut Ridge, which is the horse camp, and then thankfully I had the horse camp preset saved for the schedule, so that's the one that I chose. It automatically set the hosts and the staff correctly, and then we can just add a couple more kids so that we have 8 kids total. And then we're gonna start it now. So let's check these details real quick. Yeah, all the activities are set up accordingly. Okay, let's see if this works. Getaway is starting now. Yeah, let's go. Okay. Okay, here we are. We are at the getaway, playing with this girly, obviously. I wonder if we can hang out with the horses. Yeah, we could do a friendly introduction. Okay, she's gonna come on over and introduce herself to the horse. Oh, that is so cute, honestly. We can actually mount. Oh my god. Wait a minute. Mount the horse, please. Are you telling me that this works? Oh my god, it works. No way. Oh my god. This is so cute. Oh, careful now. Oh my god, that's so cute. Go for a relaxed ride. Careful. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, the gate is locked. Wait, can we unlock this? Oh, I don't think we can unlock this. Allow access to all chickens. What if I just quickly go into build mode? Because from the host's perspective, you know, from the actual residential perspective, I actually locked the gates so that the animals can't just like roam free everywhere, because that bothers me sometimes. But if I just were to yeet this, and if I were to place a new one, I wonder if then it's open. No, don't go for food. She's like, I've had enough. No, I want you to go for a ride, please. Fire. Oh god. Oh no. Is Lorelei on fire? Oh no. Oh no, now the horses are panicking too. Well, at least the gate is unlocked. Are you kidding me right now? Someone, call the fire department. Call the fire department, someone. I don't want my horse camp to burn down. I'm just quickly gonna add this man to my family right now. Extinguish, you fool. He's gonna slide the slide on his way to extinguish the... You are kidding me, right? Oh my god. Extinguish. Extinguish it all. Well, that was not a very relaxing camp now, was it? Anyway, the fire is over. The horses have escaped. We can actually mount the horses. I have unlocked the gate also. So now the horses are free and we can go for a relaxed ride. That is crazy. Okay, so confirmed. You could play this from the host's perspective or the kids' perspective. And if you play it from the kids, the campers' perspective, you can actually go and do horse riding. You're kidding. This is so cute. So actually, if you ask me, horse camp works. So this horse camp residential actually is up on the gallery. Unfortunately, the thumbnail is sad because I built it sideways, so you can't really get a good look at the front of the house from any of these screenshots, but it is what it is. I only used a couple of packs: Adventure Awaits, Horse Ranch, Cottage Living, Seasons, and Outdoor Retreat. So it's pretty easy to download, I feel. And I built it on a 40 by 30 in the world of Chestnut Ridge. So if you want to place it in your game, then that's where it goes. But that's gonna do it for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed this one. If you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below. You can find me over on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitch if you'd like. My username on there is Simmary Sims. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.